technology, they're trying to keep this information pretty buried so that people here in the United States and in other places don't know. But one of the things that this science advisor, his name is Marburger, and he was from the Executive Office of the President of the United States, and this is the Office of Science and Technology Policy. In 2005, in reference to a bill that never passed, but they tried to pass to get more weather modification programs going, he writes, the Departments of Defense and State, there's national security implications. He said, because small-scale weather modification may promote rain in one area to the detriment of another, weather modification could result in litigation or private citizen litigation against the modification programs themselves. That's why they don't want to do them, because there could be that type of litigation. If you don't know that the weather is being modified or who's doing it, then it would be impossible to start any type of litigation for adverse consequences.
Yeah.
He goes on to state, the legal and liability issues pertaining to weather modification and the potential adverse consequences on life, property, and water resource availability resulting from weather modification activities must be considered fully before the U.S. government could take responsibility for any new research programs. However, we are doing them. The international and foreign policy implications, he writes, small and large scale, for example, hurricane weather modification efforts could benefit the United States to the detriment of other countries such as Canada or Mexico. Given global weather patterns, whether one country owns its weather so as to assert intra-border control with extra-border consequences must be considered under present international conventions. The manner in which such a program could benefit or harm the present U.S. positions on foreign policy matters such as global warming, climate change, should also be considered.
Very, very interesting. And as well as you're reading that, Rosalind, I'm reading about environmental modification, NMOD weaponry, that allegedly was banned by a UN convention, a treaty in 1978, the UN Convention on the Prohibition of Military and Other Hostile Uses of Environmental Modification Techniques, forced the end of such programs overtly anyway. And the question is, this obviously hasn't been kept up, but at the same time, as you kind of argue there, if no one is aware what the programs are, or you know, actually is willing to look into it, then we don't know if it's going on. And if we don't know if it's going on, we can't, you know, enforce any law or urge anybody to look at these laws, right?
That's correct, and that's why I've been trying to get out the information that we are modifying the weather, that American corporations are modifying the weather in other countries as well, and that foreign countries are modifying the weather. And I think that the excesses in climate that we're seeing not only are produced by the jets producing the man-made clouds, which changes the climate, but also are produced by these weather modification programs. So where they may benefit one area, I think that they're causing negative consequences in other areas, and that's why this should be an international discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And these programs are not, a lot of them are not secret, except probably for military applications. But I still feel that there's a lot being done that we don't know about, but what we do know is enough to bring red flags into looking at this situation.
Absolutely. There's more I want to talk with you about, Rosalind, in the next segment, in the next hour here, as we begin to get into some of the aspects of crop loss, food production, and things, what kind of consequences this is going to have on that, and also in the long term and long run, of course. There's other aspects in terms of the, what NOAA has been up to, and there's other documentation, I know, and other organizations that want to ask you about, and what your take is on this, specifically pertaining to. It's an old one thrown around. I mentioned it many times before, but it's a good one because it shows some of the inspiring aspects of what the military is doing. It's called Owning the Weather in 2025. Is a document from, I think it was back in 96 or something like that. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's first of all talk a little bit about where people can go to find out more information about you, about your work, and how they themselves can I guess get involved in one sense. You have CaliforniaSkywatch.com that you mentioned before, the website. Now, is there anything you want to say about the site or other websites that you want to give out to our listeners, Rosalind?
Well, there's two websites. They're interconnected by what I call a categories section. And you can look at the categories section, and you can look at alphabetically the different items that are listed on either website. Or you can go to the search engine on each individual website, and you can search for terms or short sentences, things like that. The search engine is individual to each separate website, whereas the categories section will transfer you from website to website depending on what you click on. The AgricultureDefenseCoalition.org is a website that I originally put up to discuss agricultural issues. But then I found that there were a number of issues which impact agriculture, which had to do with the type of chemicals being used atmospherically, that had to do with solar radiation management and geoengineering, and other issues. So I began to put up related issues to agriculture.
Absolutely. There is a connection. It's an interesting one, and it's a big one, again, if you think about the long term and what the consequences of this might be. And we'll get into that then in the next segment. But again, here, the website's CaliforniaSkywatch.com and then AgriculturalDefenseCoalition.org. And I will have the links up on redicecreations.com as well, so you can click through from our site with ease, as it were. Okay, well, stay with us then, Rosalind. We'll take a short break here, and then we'll continue with more in the next segment. In the second hour, we proceed to discuss crop loss, food production, and the photosynthesis process, and how less direct sunlight affects crops. We also talk about genetically modified crops, the new aluminum-resistant plants, quality of our drinking water, and how all of this ties in with the elite agenda of depopulation. Rosalind argues that both we and the earth is being poisoned. People suffer from so many diseases and strange symptoms these days, and we specifically talk about vitamin D deficiency, rickets, and human memory loss. Very interesting. We have a system structured around a member section. When you subscribe to our website, redicecreations.com, you get full access to all our material going back to 2006. This is our full 2-hour radio programs, TV shows, webcasts, films, video interviews, audio commentary, and even the music that we do for our various productions as well. We have all our latest material and first hours of our radio programs available for free on our website for you to download or stream at your convenience. It's all commercial free, and when you feel you want to have access to all of our material and want to support our efforts, please consider signing up for a 3-month subscription for 15 euros. That's just 5 euros per month. All the details are on the website. It's really simple and easy. redicecreations.com. Go there to log in or subscribe. We'll be back with 2 excellent programs with John Lash and then George Cavazales. After that, we have queued up Ahmed Osman, Frank O'Collins, Jose Escamilla, Alan Abadessa, Joseph Farrell, Tony Bushby, Pepe Escobar, Nick Bryant, Ralph Ellis, Gilad Atzmon, and Peter Dale Scott, to mention a few. Thank you for staying with us.